I'm George Gonzalez, and today is Level Up Thursday. We're going to go over how to start from scratch if you're new to everything. You want to become a game developer. You saw my other videos on leveling up from 0 to 1. Now I'm showing you what it is, how I would do it if I was starting from scratch. First of all, Unity right now has Unity 6 on stable version. So whatever LTS version you have installed, I would start a project on Unity 6 now. So I have that installed. This is my version. If you're just starting out, you click on new project up here, and there's so many samples. If you are thinking about making VR or AR mixed reality games or mobile 2D platformer, or you want to do something cinematic, you want to learn how to do that, or a first person micro game, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do. And this one is really good for learning. Okay, so this is like how to get your feet wet. I would advise to do that. And then in here, if you wanted to keep versions of your game, like a repository, so in case like your computer blows up or something happens, you can use this version control. And make sure you name your project something else, so it doesn't say my project. Name it something nice for you. And then you hit create project. I already created mine. I'm going to open it up. It says my project because I forgot to name it. Got it. And if you click it multiple times by accident, it'll say it's already up. Okay, so, and this is a nice, I already have a scene open, but if you go in assets, Unity Essentials, scenes, starter scene. And here, usually there's when you start, there's a tutorial window that will show up, I think. Let me see. So here, the tutorial window shows up, and this is going to go through each, and I don't know, I can't zoom in. So these are really good for starting from scratch. It tells you about the editor. It tells you about essentials like creating a ball, adding materials, camera, navigating through menu, audio, programming, 2D, and publishing. So they got that down. So my advice is if you're just starting out and you're watching this video, pause, go do this. These are pretty straightforward. They have videos, they have everything, they have all the sample scenes. Okay, if I went to this starter scene, so let's say you're familiar now with the things that you did here. Now what? Now what? All right, you have a few things. You know how to maybe publish a WebGL or build a WebGL build. Let's say we wanted to make a PC game in third person. So this is a good starter for that. Starter scene as a player controller, and you have hold shift, hit space to jump. It's pretty straightforward. And you can go like that. Yeah. See, so this is pretty good to start out, and you can learn a lot about how that player is made. Eventually, we will go in more detail in the future videos about things that we're going to create to test out. But for now, I'm going to show you modeling, or at least for whiteboxing. A good tool that they have now in Unity is called ProBuilder. So if you go Windows, Package Manager, ProBuilder is good for blocking out things. I'm building at startup a white box and blocking out levels and designing environments and whatnot, so you can get an idea of what to do. And if you wanted to get into it, you could probably model things out. It's not this. So Unity registry here, and you go ProBuilder. I'm pretty sure you'll find it, ProBuilder right there. And I'm not going to update because there was an error, but I guess I could update. It's not a big deal, hopefully. If not, I'll downgrade. 6.0.5 was working fine. And the main thing is I'm going to go over ProBuilder, what you can do so that you have tools to block out levels, because that's something that's not in there. So if I go in here, I have ProBuilder, and let's say I wanted to add more, right? Because I have these shapes, maybe something that interacts with this on the side. So like we go in here, the first thing I would do is, if you've come from a previous version, there's some things that are missing. ProBuilder has updated a few things. But this is your docket, and in here we have the tool. So this is ProBuilder right here. This is the tab, and there's not much. But if you go in here and say, you can choose what to build. So we're going to create a cube. I think so, yeah. And then, or we can create our custom shape. So you can create your own shape. So I can go like this, watch. I'm going to create something that's like in between these, like a very organic shape. And I'm holding Alt to navigate while I'm still building. So see, it's still there. Let's say I want to do this. Watch right here. I'm gonna try to be weird as I can, so that, because if I just make a simple shape, then it's like, oh, okay, so that's easy. But well, how do I do something organic? You can create whatever shape you want, and I go like this, and then I go up, and now I have this shape, right? And then let's see, and in here you can go into selection, if I select this, and you see that this pops up, this now you can edit the shape more, and there's more tools in here now. So let's go over some of the tools that you can do. So now, because you have the bar up here and you have the shape, you can select, there should be here, you can select vertices, you can select edges. Let me see if I can, like, yeah, faces. So if I select faces, so you can move faces. But anyway, so I have that, and this will help me kind of do different things. So let's say faces. And sometimes one question that I've seen a lot is like how to make holes. And sometimes this is how I would do it. This is one way. So you could either delete it. So you right click and you can do multiple things. You can bevel it and there. You could here detach the face, delete face, and then you have that, but then you have the inside out, and then you have to change the material. Well, what if you wanted to bridge the edges? They have to be within a certain size. So like the distance is a setting. So see how, and then you'd have to make sure that if you have multiple vertices that need to be together, I think you can weld it. So you can right click and see connect vertices. So then you only have one. See, there you go. And then if I go in here, let me check, make sure it's not off. See how it's, oh, I selected something else in the back. So you gotta be careful what you select. Okay, so it's all working. Let me see, make sure. Okay, so we welded back the shape. The other way that you can make a hole, if you wanted to, if you hold shift, and then here see how it says global, you can just say local, and it should align local pivot center. Usually it does. I don't know why it doesn't. But if you hit shift, you can go back in and select the hole. I'm not sure why the face is not facing the right way. In here, it used to, oh, here, element. There you go. So if you use the element, it will shift. So you could do the bevel, or you could do shift, and then you can do the same thing that the bevel would do. And then shift again, and you can move it back. And you can shift again, and you can move forward, and you can change it. Okay, so there's a lot of things you can do. You can model whatever you want in this, and then you can change the materials to do what you want. You can do cut tool to cut between two places. If you'll let me, oh, because I'm doing cut tool, and then you cut there, and then you hit play, and now I have two faces. Again, shift, I can do shift to pick it up, or see, and you can make some crazy shapes. Obviously, the cut tool is dangerous because it can split your object in weird ways. So you gotta be very careful with that. But see how that's funky now? Because it has different weird cut in there, in this one. Yeah, because I cut it twice. There it is. So it can get pretty funky super fast. And then here, I'm just kind of messing around to show you kind of the tools you have. Shift is pretty nice because you can, if you wanted to, usually I just like to move things to kind of understand the 3D space of what I created. If I created something funky, see how like, instead of the element, I'll do global. That way it doesn't, I don't go crazy. I know that up is up. So sometimes global is nice. And that way you know kind of where you're moving in each direction, kind of moving around. And that's why it's important to learn I'm doing Alt to turn around. But the initial Unity setup, what they teach you is important because then you can kind of understand how to navigate. Okay, and then usually I have select all, or you could just go in here to make sure that you can select everything. Go in here, that way I can go back to selecting stuff separately. The other thing is that you can click here and then it goes back to selection mode, and I can move this out or delete it or shrink it or turn it around, whatever. Okay, that's the main thing. And if I go here and then like maybe I could raise it up, so I could go one last time, click over here, edge, grab this edge, move it up. Yeah, it's a little cut. Then you can move it up. That's why like the shape is kind of weird. You can also scale it. Sometimes I like to use scale to flatten things out if I wanted to, a shape. And then we can hit play, and then we could probably move around the shapes. See how funky it is. See, and then we have it, and then now I can get up here. See, and then I wonder, I don't know if I could have gotten up before, if I was really good or not. But I just wanted to show you what you can do with Pro Builder. There's some with Shift to extrude. Also, another tip that I've seen, because sometimes people like to model where they have a box. Let me take this out, select. You have a box, and then you invert the box, right? So that it's inside out. So you change the material, you change the normals so that you can edit the shape of this, and then you can make a room with a box because it's inside out instead of doing the walls. When you do that, you have to be aware that when you do a navigation mesh for the AI, you have to detach. That's why there's that detach faces, is so that you can remove, let me show you. So you can remove the faces that are in the floor, because when you're inside out, you need either certain things that are not, the AI nav mesh does not work by default because you have an inside shape. So the things, the computation stuff, it doesn't work because it doesn't know what to do because it's inverted. Okay, so you have to go in here, detach face, this face, and see, and then now you detach the face. And then you can use this as a nav mesh. Now it'll be able to do the calculations for a nav mesh agent. So you would have to do that for the floor if you have an inside out room and you have a bunch. And so if you created a whole level with inside out shapes, it might save you time, but you have to understand that's why some things might not work. Collision detection usually does work, but you just have to be careful on some things. Yeah, because you see how if I'm inside the shape, I don't see anything because usually people can't go inside that. And so you have to be aware or try to think, if you have holes, either make the mesh double-sided or just kind of close the gaps. And that's it for the tutorial. I just wanted to show you how to use Pro Builder because it's a nice tool for level design and white boxing, getting things in and prototyping really fast. In the next week, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this character controller to interact with NPC. So we'll do like another NPC, and we won't have animations. We'll just have like a trigger enter so that you can understand how to do that, interactions with NPCs, and do like a pop-up window, and how to do that, to use that as like as a pause menu or not. That is next week. But I want to make sure that you understand the principles and be able to do things on your own. We'll see you next week.